Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, Season 1, Episode 6. By far, this has been the best episode. And what did Cynthia admit in this episode? That she was what? Let's say it together. She was jealous. Cynthia thought that they were going to roll into this house and it was going to be business as usual, with Kenya being painted as the villain and her being the nice girl, and she was going to be the most loved. And baby, the way the tables have turned, let me tell you something, Cynthia, joining this show was the wrong idea, because this show has done nothing but expose how dreadful and how boring you truly are. Like, baby, you were able to skate by on all those seasons of Atlanta because everybody else's personalities were so big and vibrant. And you got to come across as the level-headed voice of reason when that wasn't the case at all. You're just shady, boring, and dull. But y'all, let me not jump ahead. Let's just get right on into this recap because we don't have a minute to spare. We start off the episode with Melissa and Kyle having fun in the confessional together. They're in their robes, having some coffee, and they're talking about how they've gotten so close because they're roommates. Remember how they're sharing one of the suites and a bathroom. The producer asks them how they're doing this morning. Melissa and Kyle say that they are both great. Melissa makes a joke about how she did a drunk confessional the night before and how she was gone off of that red wine. She says that while red wine makes other people tired, she's good and lit off of it. I said, okay, like that's real interesting to know, because red wine will definitely put you in a very calm state. Like, I know when I drink red wine, it's chill. You're definitely not hype off of red wine. I mean, at least not for me. So now we flip over to Kenya. She's on FaceTime with her aunt, and she's telling her aunt how she's had a good time so far, but there have been a few bumps in the road with Ramona. She's like, Aunt Lisa, she called me a bitch the first day. I let it slide, but then she tried it again, and I just flipped. Kenya goes on to say how she blew up on Ramona. Now let me say, like I said in the episode 5 recap, while Ramona is aggravating as all hell, I wish that Kenya had not snatched the margarita out of Ramona's hand. I wish Kenya would have just cursed Ramona out and kept it at that. So now we flip back to Kyle and Melissa in their confessional talking about last night. They both say that it was a whole lot happening. And then Melissa says that she felt like Cynthia was reaching about the whole glam stuff. Melissa continues by saying that somebody being late to the dinner like 5 or 10 minutes is not going to make or break or ruin anybody's night, and how Cynthia was pretty much reaching with that whole conversation. So while Melissa and Kyle are on the topic of Cynthia, we now see Cynthia outside and she's laying down by herself. She says that she doesn't know why she's having such a hard time connecting with the other women and how she feels like she's on an island by herself. Then she continues by saying that it's a terrible feeling to feel like you're all by yourself when you're on a girls' trip. Let me just say this. I never thought that Cynthia had this great personality. I always got some weird energy from her. I felt like she skated by and rested on her laurels because Peter was carrying her in their storyline for years. Then when she had that little fallout with Nene around season 7, when Claudia Jordan came into the picture, that sort of gave her another storyline. And because they were all fighting with Nene, Cynthia didn't have to say much. Like I've said, I have never thought that Cynthia was fun. I always thought that she was kind of weird, very dull, no personality, boring. She was just there. I was always very indifferent about her, and I always could take her or leave her. And now, since she has to stand on her own 2 feet, now the viewers really see what a bore she truly is and has always been. You are in a 5-star villa. You are in the beautiful Turks and Caicos. If you can't have a good time, then something's wrong with you. Period, point blank. There's no reason why Cynthia has this weird energy. She's picking at everybody, being in a bad mood. It's like, girl, that's on you. And also, I don't know what's going on with Cynthia and these fashions, but none of her looks on this trip have been hitting. And those fanny packs are driving me crazy. And one of you guys pointed out that she has been wearing a fanny pack in every single scene. Like when they're at breakfast, lunch, dinner, the beach, the yacht, a plane, a train, a bus. Like she has a fanny pack at all times. And it's like, girl, what's going on? So now we see Teresa going into Ramona's room and she's gifting Ramona some of her athleisure wear. And if you don't know, Teresa's been posting about her new line on Instagram. Ramona really loves her gift, and as she's thanking Teresa, Teresa goes on to say how she felt really bad that Ramona left the dinner last night. Ramona goes on to say, I kept putting my foot in my mouth, and I was also tired, and my stomach was really hurting, so I just said, you know what, let me just go to bed and try again tomorrow morning. Ramona goes on to say that she needs to learn how to shut her mouth and how she just got emotional. Teresa says that she feels bad for Ramona. She understands why the other ladies don't like her, but she also feels sad for Ramona because she feels like Ramona's lonely. Now, while that's all well and good that Teresa now has this big old heart and wants to extend sympathy for Ramona, let's not forget that Ramona has always been very nasty and very rude since the beginning of New York. And when she started on the show, she was married and her daughter was a preteen, okay? So she wasn't lonely at the time and she was still a jackass. So please miss me with that, oh, she's lonely and that's why she acts like that. Nobody wants to hear it. Ramona has a problem and she needs to seek some help. So while Teresa and Ramona are talking, Michael comes in their room and he informs them of the day's activities. So they're really excited because today is going to be a beach day. Then Ramona lets it be known that they're going to be having dinner at John's house. And we all know that Ramona has the biggest crush on John. So now we see Luann and Kenya having breakfast. Luann thanks Kenya for opening up her eyes as to how horrible Ramona's behavior truly is. She's like, I've let stuff go for years and years, but now I'm like, wow, her behavior really is awful, and I'm not letting it slide anymore. Now we see Kyle outside by the pool, and she's FaceTiming Mauricio because Mauricio is going to be in Turks and Caicos. Since the agency has several offices, they have a Turks and Caicos office, and Mauricio has a meeting, and he just conveniently coordinated this meeting the same time that she was going to be going to Turks and Caicos on this girls' trip. So she's super excited to see her fine husband. And I said, you know what? I would be excited too. So we pivot back over to Ramona, and she goes outside to talk to Cynthia. She says that she really cares about Cynthia as a friend, and she knows that she needs to apologize. Ramona walks over to Cynthia. She gives yet another apology. So Cynthia keeps going on and on and on about how upset she was. And then she says, I prayed about it, I slept on it, and now I just want to have a reset. So she goes on to say, Ramona, I do care about you as a friend, and I want us to just wipe the slate clean. So they give each other a hug, and all is well. Even though I can't stand Ramona, was it just me, or were you also annoyed how Cynthia kept going on and on and on? I mean, don't get me wrong, she has every right to feel annoyed about being late to the dinner and how glam was held up. But the way Cynthia was going on like somebody had died, it's like, girl, this is not life or death. Like, let's put this in perspective. And for you to say that you had to pray about it, I had to sleep on it, it's like, girl, can you just stop? Just accept the apology or don't and keep it moving. But it wasn't that bad for you to be that upset about. Cynthia has been very exhausting. And again, she should have thought twice before signing up for this show. Now we flip back over to Luann and Kenya at the table. And then we see Teresa and Melissa joining them. They all agree that Ramona is lonely. And then Luann says it's just so sad to watch because she's clearly unhappy. So you know how it is when you're gossiping with your girlfriends about somebody that you guys really can't stand? That's what this conversation was. So Melissa says, now let me tell you this. I was talking to Ramona like yesterday, and she told me that she's going to stay in Turks and Caicos a few extra days because she feels like she has nothing to go home to. So Luann is just salivating at this conversation because she's still pissed off at Ramona. She's like, I know. Ramona has nothing, and I feel really sorry for her. And when she was saying how much she wants to be like me on the boat yesterday, I was like, she's reaching out for help. It was really sad to watch. I said, again, there is nothing like you already can't stand somebody and then finding out that they're going through something kind of tough and you're just like salivating hearing this. I said Luann had the biggest smirk on her face hearing that Ramona is going home to nothing. Then Luann goes on to say that the ladies have opened her eyes at how unacceptable Ramona's behavior has been, how she's let it slide for too long, but today is a new day and that's over with. So it's time for all the ladies to hit the beach, and as they're on their way there, is Luann, Kenya, and Teresa in one van, and then the rest of the ladies are in the other van. Kenya and Luann said that they were not trying to be in the van with Ramona, so that was not happening. So I was cracking up because Kenya was asking Luann if she's on Cameo. Luann says that she is on Cameo and she charges like $125 per Cameo video. And if you don't know what Cameo is where celebrities will call you up for your birthday or any special occasion. But actually, it doesn't have to be a special occasion. They can call you up and say hi for whatever reason, as long as you pay the money. Luann says that she has 30 to do, and then she shows Kenya how much she's made off of it. Kenya's like, wait, what? Like, you made 6 figures off of Cameo? So she's like, well, damn, maybe I need to start doing some more because that's a lot of money. I will always be here for women getting to the bag, okay? Now we flip to the next van with Cynthia, Ramona, Melissa, and Kyle. Cynthia, you really know how to bring the mood all the way down because I don't understand why you had to open your mouth and make everything even more awkward. Cynthia turns to Kyle and lets her know how happy she is that they're in this van together. Then she says, you know what, Kyle? I just don't understand why me and you keep bumping heads. So now Cynthia says, Kyle, I'm really mortified to admit this. And now everybody's like, okay, girl, like what you about to say? Like what you about to admit? Like, come on, like spit it out already. So she says, Kyle, I am really jealous of you and Kenya and how you guys have hit it off. Everybody in the car is shocked. And did you guys notice how Kyle was smirking? I have always said, Kyle lives off of feeling like somebody's jealous of her. And her smirking like that, I was like, Cynthia, I would never have given Kyle the satisfaction. So now Cynthia apologizes to Kyle for her attitude. And then she goes on to say how she loves Kyle and she hopes that they can leave the island with respect for each other. So Kyle thanks Cynthia for admitting her jealousy. And did you guys notice that when she said that she appreciated that, how smug she was? I said, Kyle was really eating that up, but I digress. So now we see Kyle in her confessional and she says, again, I appreciate the apology, but I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't see me and Cynthia being great friends because she's just not that fun. I said the shade of it all. Now, mind you, I always thought that Kyle's personality on Beverly Hills was very dull. And she's a lot of fun on this show, but on Beverly Hills, not so much. So for Kyle to say that somebody else isn't that fun, that's how you know you're boring. Now, like I said in the beginning, I knew from jump that Cynthia was jealous about Kenya being popular and well received by the rest of these women. And Cynthia truly showed her hand when she said, I'm just not used to this because I've never had to compete or try for Kenya's attention before. And in Atlanta, she doesn't have many friends. I have always felt like in that friendship, Cynthia viewed herself as the prize. She viewed herself as everybody was clamoring to be her friend, and she really got some enjoyment out of Kenya only having her to lean on, since Kenya does not have that many friends. There are a lot of people who are like that, and you really need to watch for that. And when I tell you I am so happy that Cynthia was not asked back for season 14.
Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
So now Melissa reveals that the reason why she kind of avoided Cynthia this whole trip was because Kenya told her that Cynthia was jealous about them getting close. So now Cynthia's like, now that's some bull, because I wasn't even thinking about you, Melissa, so that's not true at all. Now we see Cynthia in her confessional, and she's upset that Kenya would tell Melissa anything like that. Now, girl, let's not, because when you guys were on the boat on day 2, you seemed real upset at Kenya and Melissa getting close. And you made that snide remark like, well, I see they're getting close, so I should make some new friends myself. So you did feel a way about Melissa and Kenya, but you were just too embarrassed to admit that you were jealous of Kyle and Melissa. You were like, okay, I'm not going to give both of them the satisfaction. I'll just tell Kyle, but I'm going to lie to Melissa and say that I'm not jealous. But you know that you are. So Melissa and Cynthia make a little pact that they're going to spend some more time with each other these last few days of the trip. Kyle says, I think that friendship has sailed. Like, they're both playing themselves. It's too late. And I feel the same way, Kyle. I think that they're just not each other's cup of tea. Like, Cynthia just doesn't do it for anybody. So the ladies get to the beach, and the beach was set up so cute. They had a table for lunch. They had a full bar set up. They were greeted with coconuts. I just loved it. It was so cute. So now Michael starts taking solo pictures of all of them. And when I tell you, when they got to Ramona, I was like, Ramona is somebody who has no sort of sex appeal whatsoever. I mean, Ramona could not take a good picture to save her life. I was like, girl, what is this? So while everybody's having a great time, Cynthia is whining about how miserable she is. Why does she feel so upset? Why does she feel so low energy? And how she doesn't know where her friendship with Kenya stands because Kenya has done a lot to hurt her. The fact that you can't just have a good time, you want to bring the mood down for everybody else, you don't see how miserable you truly are. Even Ramona, as much as she is pissed off damn near everybody in this house, even she is trying to make an attempt to be fun and to just have a good time for the sake of the group. Why can't you do that? But all this crying and whining and brooding about, oh my gosh, I'm just so sad, and Kenya, we're not friends, and she's just hurt me. Like, nobody has time to deal with all that on a vacation. Like, enough. So now we see Luann and Kenya, and then Teresa and Melissa, they get in the water, and they're in the canoes, right? Ramona is still paddleboarding. So at one point, while Luann and Kenya are in their canoe, Ramona's kind of close to them, and Kenya and Luann act like they're going to push Ramona off of the paddleboard into the water. So now Teresa and Melissa are watching that, and they're like, oh my gosh, like that is so mean. Did you guys see that? So they both feel bad for Ramona, and they feel like Kenya and Luann are kind of bullying her. I don't like Ramona, but I will always do my best to be as fair as I possibly can. She already knows that she is not well liked in this house. And because of that, she was trying to stay to herself, not piss anybody off, not do or say anything that was going to have her with her foot in her mouth. I just felt like Kenya and Luann, just leave her alone. Let the lady paddleboard in peace, because that would have been another issue had Ramona fallen into the water. So now it's time for lunch, and all the ladies are sitting at the table. Did you guys notice when Kenya was rapping and then she was like, because Melissa is the prettiest girl. And then the camera flips to Cynthia's face and Cynthia looks super salty. A little part of me felt like Kenya's rap was shade to Cynthia's stupid game on day 2. Remember that game that Cynthia wanted them to play, asking who was the sexiest, who was the smartest, all that? I was like, it kind of gave me some thinly veiled shade. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I just got a little bit of shade from that rap. I said, okay now. So while lunch is being served, Luann says, hey Ramona, let's just talk to the side for a few minutes because I have to get something off of my chest. So they go off to the side, and Luann says, look, Ramona, the apologies from you have been the same for years, and I just can't do this anymore. I have been a good friend to you. I have never behaved badly towards you, but every single time you seem to cut at me with some sort of dig, and I just can't take it. So Ramona says, Luann, I'm disappointed in myself, and I really do love you. I care about you, and I'm happy that we're friends, but I don't understand why I say and do the things that I do. Luann says, look, Ramona, you need to do a serious deep dive within, and on top of that, I feel like something's going on with you, like something's not right. Then she brings up how Ramona is drinking more than usual, and she thinks that that might be the reason why Ramona is acting so crazy. Now, Luann, let's not blame anything on alcohol. Ramona has been like this since day one. We have seen her act like this, sober, drunk, tipsy. Ramona is always awful, so let's not. Don't give her an easy out. They share a hug, and then they join the rest of the ladies for lunch. And let me just say, when Ramona and Luann sat back down at that table and the camera showed that food, that lunch looked absolutely delicious. I was like, okay, I am here for all of this. Cynthia wants to know how their talk went. Ramona says it went well and how she is going to work on herself and change. Kenya's rolling her eyes at that table like, girl, I'll believe it when I see it. And Ramona is never going to change, so let's not even get our hopes up like that's a possibility. Nobody's ever too old to change. It's never too late to change, but I personally don't see Ramona changing. So there's that. Teresa makes a joke in her confessional that Ramona needs more yoga and more sex to even her out. The conversation changes gears, and Kyle brings up how she's excited that Mauricio is going to be joining them for the dinner. So they're all like, you know what, you're so lucky that your husband's coming. And then they ask Kyle to demonstrate how she had sex with Mauricio at the black tie dinner. So now Kyle's like, okay, like let me do a demonstration. And she sits on Ramona's lap, and so she's showing them how she did it. And she's like, you know, I was sitting on his lap like this, and she's grinding on Ramona's lap, and she's doing this. And so they're all laughing like, girl, no, you did not. I was screaming at that demonstration that Kyle was doing. I was like, okay, sis. Like, she was really getting into it. I have to say, Kyle is actually a lot of fun, and I never thought in a million years that I would ever say that. Kyle does not bring this energy when she's on her own franchise. She is just very, I don't know, she's just like dull on Beverly Hills. But here, she is really like a good time. I'm like, Kyle, can we please see this on Beverly Hills? Like, please. Season 12, I want to see this Kyle, okay? I don't want to see the other Kyle that we've seen for the past 11 seasons. Like, please bring this fun Kyle to Beverly Hills. Thank you so much. So we're back at the villa. All the women are getting ready for the all-white party at John's house. Ramona is going into everybody's rooms, and she wants them to wear these like crystals on their faces. And so Melissa's like, girl, that is so dated, like, no thing. So Ramona goes into Kenya's room, and Kenya's getting all glammed up. Ramona's like, hi, Kenya, you look beautiful. Would you like to wear like some crystals for tonight? Kenya's being cordial, but you could still tell that she's really mad at Ramona. And so it's kind of a tense, awkward moment. So then Ramona wants to know if Kenya will be ready by 7:30. So Kenya's like, well, probably 7:45. Ramona says, okay, cool. So Kenya is like, the only reason why she wants me to be on time is because she is just eager to get to her little fake boyfriend's house. So Cynthia is all dressed and made up, and she's waiting for everybody else in the living room. So now we see Kyle in the living room. She's all ready. And then Melissa, and I want to say Luann and Kenya are ready as well. So they're all greeting each other, giving each other kisses on the cheeks and all this, having a good time. And so Cynthia is just like looking at them, and she's kind of salty. And she says in her confessional that she's too old to feel so jealous of folks, and how she wishes that she were in their little inner circle as well. I was like, Cynthia, this is a straight up embarrassment. Like, you are really envious of these women when all you have to do is just act normal. That's all you have to do. Like, you don't have to do anything else but just be pleasant and be a good time, and they would receive you with open arms. The ladies all arrive at John's house, and John's house was gorgeous. I mean, beautiful, big, and I loved how it was right on the beach. I said, I know John has a good coin. Luann says in her confessional that John is an eligible bachelor, highly sought after, and how she does not see the look of love in his eyes when it comes to Ramona. And I was like, Luann, everybody except Ramona can see that. Because again, when a man wants you, he will let you know immediately. And when Ramona met him 6 years ago, she threw herself at him for one, and two, he was just trying to be nice to her. He was not interested at all. And Ramona seems like she's going to force her way into his heart, and it's just not happening. But let Ramona be in the delusional headspace that she wants to be in. Mauricio arrives, he looks really handsome, and Kyle is just so happy to see her fine husband, okay? Like, she was all over him. So they all go down to the beach to eat, and the table looks absolutely beautiful. And did you notice when they were walking down to the beach, when Melissa said to Kenya, I'm going to hook you up with a Jersey boy, okay? And then Kenya's like, okay, if he's Italian, that is fine by me. And I said, Miss Kenya, you and I are on the same page because yes. And Melissa, if you know anybody else, send them my way, okay? All right, sis. I know that y'all be watching my channel, girl. So, honey, just let me know if you got somebody in mind for me too. Because, darling, when I tell you, when I was in Italy, they liked all of this. But we're not here to talk about all that today. That's another story for another video. So everybody is seated, and Kenya is gushing over Kyle, and we see Cynthia. She looks very awkward, very unhappy. I was like, Cynthia, if you can't slap a smile on your face, girl, like, my goodness, at least fake it. I mean, Cynthia's energy, I know her energy must have been 10 times worse there because I could feel it through the screen. My misery does not like company. I will gladly sit an event out if I'm not feeling my best because I'm not going to bring other people down because I'm feeling a sort of way. And that is called being a decent human being. But again, I digress. So here's where things get spicy. Kenya starts questioning John about what he's looking for in a woman and what his physical type is. Now, Kenya knows good and damn well that Ramona has the biggest crush on John. So her asking this is definitely shade. So now Kenya starts talking up Luann about how intelligent Luann is and how pretty she is. And I was like, when I tell you, Kenya, lets it be known that she is not the one or the two. Like, she is really out for blood when she does not like you. Teresa says that while she feels bad for Ramona, this is what happens when you poke the bear. And this is why you need to be careful who you try. Because there are some people who are so vengeful and they will stop at nothing to embarrass you after you started with them. So now John says, you know what's so funny? I had no idea that you ladies would like each other so much. So Kenya's like, well, actually not quite. And she brings up all the drama between her, Ramona, and everybody else in the house. So Ramona is freaking out. She's like, cheers to Kenya, cheers to Kenya. Kenya, I love you. She is doing everything in her power to try to get the conversation off the rails and get it back on track. So Ramona's going on and on about why does Kenya have to take things too far and how this isn't proper etiquette and so on and so forth. So now Kenya turns to Luann and she's like, okay, let's, turn the heat up even more. She tells Luann that she wants Luann to go over and flirt with John, knowing good and well how Ramona feels about John. So Luann's like, Kenya, like, really? And Kenya's like, yeah, like go over there and flirt with him, like really mess Ramona up. Now remember, Luann is still pissed off at Ramona as well. So Luann is taking delight in messing with Ramona as well. And again, Ramona, this is why you need to be careful about how you treat people. Because there are folks who do get super petty like this. Teresa is looking at all this go on and she's like, I feel so bad for Ramona. And this reminds me of the movie Carlito's Way. And Ramona is not going to be leaving out of here with the love of her life. So baby, Luann saunters over to John and she starts flirting. I was like, oh my gosh, like she was really getting into it. So now Ramona is like, I need to use the restroom. Like, where's the restroom? Can somebody tell me where the restroom is? And she is like a bat out of hell. So everybody is watching all this mess go down at the table. Kyle says, I understand that Kenya's angry at Ramona, but this is too far. Now, Kyle, not too much about what's too far and what's too cruel, because how you did Sutton this past season of Beverly Hills, don't do that. You left Sutton out to dry, okay? The way you turned on her at your sister's dinner party, don't do it. You let Sutton take the fall for everything. You sat up there and told Erica what all was said, but you left out what you said. So let's not. Because seeing how Sutton was treated this past season and how you let it happen, how you stood by while Erica was cursing her out and threatening her, I don't want to hear anything about what's too far. And Kyle, you're the same woman who outed your sister for being an alcoholic on national TV season 1. So again, not too much on Miss Kenya, girl. Not too much. And the way you turned on Denise Richards and the way you ran LVP off the show, I would calm it down talking about Kenya's being too cruel to Ramona. So now Kyle and Cynthia get up from the table and they start talking amongst themselves. They both agree that what Kenya's doing to Ramona is really cruel and messed up. So now Ramona gets out the bathroom and she joins Cynthia and Kyle. And so Kyle says, me and Cynthia were just talking about you, Ramona, and we see what's going on. Ramona says, I know, it's like Kenya has a stick up her butt and she's trying to embarrass me. Then Ramona goes on to say how she doesn't like Kenya at all. Again, sis, the feeling is mutual, and it's really funny how you can't take it when somebody tries to embarrass you, because I recall how when you all were in St. Bart season 5, you were eager to embarrass Luann and expose Luann to her then fiance Jock about how she cheated on him with that sexy pirate who looked like Johnny Depp. So, Ramona, you've done your fair share of very cruel things to people as well. So don't try to act like some little victim now. A lot of these women can dish it out, but they can't take it. And when they see that somebody can play the game better than they can, now it's, oh my gosh, they're so mean. Who would do something like this? This isn't right. Like, don't do that. This is why you don't mess with people who are crazier than you. Because I'm telling you right now, there are some people who truly believe in when you go low, I'm going to hell. And Kenya is taking it to the 9th layer of hell. So now the night is winding down. The ladies are dancing, being silly. We see Kenya dancing with John, having a good time. And Ramona is just pissed. So the night is over. John is walking them all out of his house. And baby, he goes on and gets Luann's number. Ramona is sick about it, and she says in her confessional that if Luann wants John, then she can have him. I said, but girl, John was never yours in the first place. John never wanted you. You were the one throwing yourself at him. Okay, let's get that clear. But you know how sick Ramona was on the inside? Like, she was probably crying and throwing up when they got back to the villa, because for you to be embarrassed like that at dinner, and now your friend who you're on the outs with is now getting the attention and the number of the guy that you've been trying to get with for 6 years, man, I would have been ill. Ramona has been nasty to people for years. So my sympathy was non-existent, okay? I did not feel bad seeing Luann getting with John. The same way that Ramona was eager to tell everybody who would listen that she had gotten with Luann's ex-husband Tom, then all's fair when it comes to love. That was never your man. You had a long time crush on him, but he didn't want you. He seems to be showing interest in Luann. So, it is what it is. Take the L and move right on along. The episode ends with Kyle letting them know that she's going to be spending the night with her husband, Mauricio. And I said, I would too, okay? But let me tell you something. This episode was everything. Like, I didn't think this show could get any better. And then, once again, I am proven wrong. Everything. The drama, A1. It's fresh, it's new, it's exciting. I was like, I am here for all of this. But y'all, that was my recap. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. And as always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.